cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook. I got melancholy dreams after 06. Walking out the snow, popping pussies, no emotion. If you see the car, tell them pussies they get ghosted. Busting through the door, big they get they acting motion. So many chemicals sit in my body, I gotta cure at least one disease. And no cause I'm hard, cause my bodyguard carry 2 straps like dungarees. I like crazy women, cause I know just how to stay protective. If she ever not with me, she keep a taser always in her custody. You hear the pieces from her like a bumblebee. I took a double shot inside a double tree. I took a triple shot and now I'm seeing triple. Bitches get to know me by the VVS. If you ask her, those my 3 initials. Those my 3 initials. Plenty fish in the season, we can be efficient. But the drop and fuck it up and take the whole country up like a North Korea mission. I got melancholy dreams after 06. Walking out the snow, popping pussies, no emotion. If you see the car, tell them pussies they get ghosted. Busting through the door, big they get they action motion. I got melancholy dreams after 06. Walking out the snow, popping pussies, no emotions. If you see the car, tell them pussies they get ghosted.
You can turn that up a little bit next time.
Cornbread hell was that?
I do like a good love song.
Yeah, nice and a slow jam, I believe is what we call that.
Yeah. Slow jam.
Yep.
Yep.
Everything else -6.
You've got there's your problem. Got a -6 dB.
Oh my god. Oh, it was so much louder than I thought it was. Oh my god, that's funny.
Again, I couldn't tell you that first bass hit. Made my
Yeah,
ears
you're
bleed.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, so
It was
You
only
gotta punch
one
through
bass
the
hit.
eardrum, and that's when the bass really starts
that's
hitting.
how you know, right?
Once you get through the eardrum.
That
Was
way
the
the
title
eardrum-
of that Sonic Rape?
the
No,
eardrum does all
that's
the
a Rule
clipping
34
for you.
thing.
Rule 34.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh. You believe
Yeah.
Spotify approved that to go on their fucking platform? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I've heard some shitty music on Spotify.
That is true. That's actually
New
very true.
music's on Spotify.
That's true.
Which,
Neil Young was at one point and maybe is again. And I don't like his shit either.
right?
I'll have to make it a little louder next time. I feel like it wasn't as impactful as I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I don't. Most of your music's not impactful.
Yeah.
So.
It's impacted.
I got
Some
something else to
music-
say.
Still talking about music here?
Yeah, it's impacted. They have to irrigate it and flush
Irrigate
it out.
Who's that? It's windy
What was
here.
that? I heard that.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Dogs
Sure it's
over
nothing.
here.
Chupacabra.
What's that? Probably. We got a lot of grasshoppers and chupacabra in Colorado
Yeah.
this year.
JD Vance trying to come fuck a couch.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's about. I've stayed pretty away from most of that shit. As much as I
Somebody
can.
cosplayed as Dave Chappelle, cosplaying as Prince or something.
Oh, the fuck your couch.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
whatever that skit was.
Yeah, like when I pull up the top stories, it's like Zelensky, don't care. House explosion, that's a bummer. Israel, don't care. Trump, don't care. Brazil plane crash, that was kind of fucking weird. I did see a video of that. That sucked.
Price of eggs going up. Holy
yeah,
shit.
right. Price of eggs going up, $14. You know, they've got
It was a Brazilian plane crash.
yeah, they
Missed the landing strip.
I was just getting ready
I was
to.
gonna
I was
say there's
trying
no
to work
hair,
that into a
not
joke. I
a
was
bit of hair on that
trying
plane.
to work that into a joke. So I'm
I'm
kind of glad
surprised
that
it crashed. I figured it'd be very aerodynamic.
very aerodynamic. Yeah, yeah. It just kind of fell out of the sky too. It was like a flat spin. And of course, you know, with everybody and their cell phones nowadays, you just watch this motherfucking thing flat spinning out of the sky. It was like it was a smaller jet.
What is up, guys? I'm coming at you again. I'm on this plane. We're crashing, hurtling towards Earth. Don't
Be
forget
sure to like and
subscribe.
subscribe.
Donate to my Patreon.
No, I mean, if it was a YouTube thing, it would be I made whatever type of plane this is twerk or some dumb shit like that, and it just
Pilots
didn't work.
hate this one trick. Yeah.
Just crashing a plane. Yeah, pilots hate it when you just fucking nose
Traffic controllers.
Right. Air traffic controllers don't want you to know this
The
one way of making a
FAA
plane fall.
hates this one simple trick.
Yeah, that's terrible because people died, but
People die all the time.
I mean that's the thing, and I don't have
I didn't know him.
like true ill will towards anyone. I wouldn't be like,
Was it a suicidal Boeing plane again, or what happened?
I don't think so.
I don't think Boeing planes do that. And
I'm not going to say that they
do not reflect the opinion.
Boeing planes are the best thing ever. You should fly on one as soon as you
Right.
can. They're amazing.
I heard the
That
gun
and don't
cock
buy a
behind you.
bidet. So, toilet paper
Yeah.
mafia will come get you.
Day begay.
Dave Begay.
I find it rather interesting that they're having problems with Boeing's Starliner at the International Space Station and aren't sure that they can bring the motherfucker home before next year if they can bring it home.
What is it? A Cybertruck?
No, not only does Boeing have problems with their 737 MAX, 747, 787,
That's Doug's opinion.
even
7XX.
their space program stuff now. And the funniest thing about it is they actually may be in a position to where Elon Musk has to set up a mission to go get the people from the fucking space station. that is on the table at this point.
I read a lot of hate from the right about Elon, and I know he's a nutbag and probably a complete dick, but I try to tell people that if you were to investigate the CEOs and founders of every company that you shop with or go do business with to determine if you like their politics, religion, whatever, you wouldn't be able to fucking shop anywhere. Like, do I like the guy? I don't know. I never met him. I think some of the shit he says is dumb, but I bought a Starlink recently and it's fucking slick.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference with Elon is there are, I mean, just by the nature of the position and what those people do, there's a lot of CEOs that are psychopaths.
Mhm.
However,
Proven fact. Studies have been done.
yeah, however, most of those are not quite as vocal as what
Yeah, they're
Musk
not public
is. I mean,
figures.
they at least have the brain to keep their yap shut.
Right.
But
let their PR company do what they're paying them to do.
It's almost like he's on some kind of spectrum. Who knows?
Yeah, but I've always said, man, I hold the opinion that having mental illness, being on the spectrum, whatever, does not give you carte blanche to be a fucking asshole. And I've dealt with some of them, especially autistic, that know it and then just ride it into the fucking ground every time they act like an asshole. Well, I'm autistic. I don't know how to. No, fuck you. If you're aware of it, if you're self-aware enough to know that, to understand it. I watched a kid on, I think it was TikTok for a while, and he's like, he gets agitated when people touch him and stuff like that. And he filmed some of his breakdowns. And he'd say, I don't like being like this. But when he starts to feel like that, he just like gets up and walks away. He doesn't lay into fucking perfect strangers because they don't know. And I'm like, see, that's how you're supposed to do it. It's okay to snap once in a while. Everybody does it. But saying, oh, I'm autistic, I'm ADHD.
Well, it's kind of like, there is a certain amount of it to where it's, okay, occasionally there are times, and, this is proven true throughout history, where your challenge can actually be an advantage in certain situations
Uh,
because you approach things slightly differently.
I believe
So,
ADHD, being that a habit and all, and I see people that say, "No, it's not a superpower. It fucking sucks," and all that. It does suck. And I think Doug and I were just talking the other day about the parts of ADHD that people don't see, the self-loathing and the fucking depression and intrusive thoughts and shit that come with it. But I do believe that it has its
Don't
pro
superpowers
side.
also suck? Like in every comic book?
Yeah, right. It always comes with some kind of right
Weird side
payoff.
effect. It's like, man, it's not a superpower. It sucks. It's like, okay, so that's a superpower.
Yeah, but I think that I think Doug has a point that it's they for a lot of people it's the hyper focus. For me, it's the logical thinking, the almost autistic like logical thinking.
well, I mean, there's some of it that corporate America would love to just absolutely hop all over, but most great leaps forward are the result of some limitation that had to be overcome. And
Sure.
in order to overcome that limitation, they made a giant leap because of that. Now, the it's those limitations sometimes that expound things. It's like Dr. Seuss wound up getting widely hailed great children's author, anything else. And when he started doing his thing and became popular, what he was doing is like, I am only going to use this many words and I am going to see how I can construct it. And I think his budget was like 100 words. He could reuse them, whatever he wanted to do, but it was 100 words and that was it. So, because of that limitation, it kind of changed the way he approached things.
Yeah, I think creativity flourishes under limitations. Like with music, if you give someone like this ridiculously powerful doll and they can do anything they want, most people are just like, I don't fucking know what I want to do, man. Fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can do like 4 tracks and you only have like 20 samples, people, you have to get creative to make something that sounds actually good. So you're naturally going
Actors
to be creative.
actors say the same thing about movies when you can just punch everything in post and you have this giant digital budget and all that. You don't you don't get creative, you don't have good dialogue, etc. because nobody kind of right there's no push to do it. And we've all seen those action movies of the big budget sci-fis that are like, that movie sucked. The CGI was phenomenal. The movie was
Well,
terrible. And then I've seen low budget B movies that were phenomenal because of the acting, the dialogue, and everything else.
also to go back to that same point, it's there is a point at which where your options are unlimited, where merely making the choice becomes overwhelming.
Sure.
And then as soon as you make the choice, you immediately regret that decision. So
What do you mean?
sometimes,
That's my ADHD life.
well, I exactly, but it's that's not just an ADHD phenomenon. Let's say, for instance, this is probably the easiest scenario I can give you. Let's say you go to work for Company X. In Company
For
X,
Elon,
when
Mm-hmm.
October rolls around and it's getting time for open enrollment, and somebody decided it was a wonderful idea to give you as many options as possible. And you had 200 health plans to choose
Yeah,
from.
I'd walk out. Be like, nope, I'm
Yeah,
done.
this is my 2 minute notice. Fuck you
Yep.
guys, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we want to make sure that you've got something catering to your needs, so we're going to provide you with as
Yeah.
many options as possible. Now, in that scenario where you have these 200 choices, which science just shows that whichever choice you make, you're going to be unsure that you made the right one, and you will automatically feel like there's something out there that's probably better that suits your needs. And then that just goes into a cycle. But if you turn around and you give somebody 4 very clearly delineated options, they can go in and choose the one that's best for them. And generally, they feel better about that. And it was because they had less choices and it didn't feel so overwhelming. And that's regardless if you're neurotypical or neurodivergent.
I would say most people would fall into that category, yes, because it's hard enough to research and understand the parameters of 3 or 4 things sometimes, let alone, like you said, 200 or some niche market for everybody. um, I know that I don't like more than 3 or 4 options, because I can get stunted on that. I can sit and stare at those 3 and be like,
Well, that's kind of how I figured out my lunch thing. It's like, once I was sort of aware of that phenomenon, I changed my lunch philosophy of, hey, where do you want to go eat? And then, that became the eternal, oh my God, what are we going to do? So the way I started narrowing that shit down was, okay, what do you not fucking want? What is on your
right,
no list?
right.
Because it's like,
Does
if you
use that
got the
with me. It
shits
does
that
work.
day, you're
Yeah.
not you're
You
not
don't want
going
Taco
to the
Bell.
Mexican restaurant
Yeah.
down the street and get all you can eat refried beans. That's
But it is,
off the list.
it's funny. It does work. He's done that with me. He'd be like, hey, man, you want to get something to eat before we go do whatever? I'm like, yeah, what do you want? Fuck, dude, I don't know. Okay, what don't you want? And like, oddly enough, it's like pizza. I don't want pizza. Never discussed it, nothing. Just for some reason, my brain was immediately able to say, yeah, I'm not feeling this, this, or this. Like these 3 things, like, doesn't even sound good
Yeah.
in my mouth.
Highly
And it's like,
effective.
okay, cool.
Highly effective.
Highly effective.
And
Yeah,
well,
it does
and
work.
then the next thing that comes after that is, once we establish what you don't want to eat, then we're like, okay, now that these are off the table, here's 3 options that are not any of that stuff. And you give
On
them
any
3
of those
options.
things, right? Yeah,
One of
you
them,
narrow it
they're going
down to something easier to, like, yeah, sushi, that sounds good. So, yep.
No,
Doug
actually,
comes
I
up
don't
with
want
some
that
good
either.
stuff.
I don't
once
want
in a
either
while.
of those 3 things
I
either.
don't want either of those 3 things either.
Now that you mention it,
then I've probably put my penis in you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
I mean,
No, wouldn't be the first time.
wouldn't be the first time, right?
Adam's like, I don't want that either.
Oh.
I
not
saw
again.
I saw a video of a guy. He's like, how to always take your wife where she wants to go, and they get in the car, and he says, "Hey, baby, guess where I'm taking you for dinner?" And she's like, "Oh my God, you're taking me to the steakhouse?" He's like, "Absolutely."
How'd you know? How'd you know?
I was like, "That's fantastic." But that would never work for me.
No, they'd be like, just surprise me. I like
Right?
surprises.
Guess where I'm taking you? Oh, I don't know. I can't wait. I'm so surprised. Like, you don't want to take even just
Come
not one
on,
guess.
guess. We're not. I'm not putting a car in drive to you guess.
You take at least one guess. Yeah.
Come on, just try it. Just try. Come on, just wild guess.
Guess
I
where
dated
I'm
a
taking
woman
you,
that-
honey.
No,
I dated
I
a
don't
woman
know.
that finally just told me, she's like, dude, she's like, I just want you to tell me where we're going. And I was like, shit, I can do that. But I
To
promise
Pound
if
Town.
that would have, yeah, right. We always
Put
did
the
that
car
anyway.
back in park. To
That
Pound
was
Town.
just, yeah, that was always expected. But it's, the same things that they say that the thing that you like the most about the person that you get into a new relationship is the thing you wind up hating the most 10 years down the line. And I wasn't sure if I believed that, but the older I get, I think there might be some truth to it.
Yeah,
It's
how
like
many
you can
times
eat pizza every day for a year, and then you'd hate pizza.
Yeah, You know, it's like, oh, it's cute how strong-willed she is and how, you know, she speaks her mind. And then years later, you're like, how about you shut the fuck up? So, and that's,
Everything gets old after a while.
I think so.
It's like I don't need to know what you think about the new nail polish you bought. I don't
Right.
need a half an hour dissertation on that.
I just, you know, I'm still very open to meeting somebody. I just don't try at all. So I don't know. I don't know how
No,
that's
you're
going to
open.
happen.
You're open to
Oh,
people meeting you. That's what you
Yeah,
mean.
exactly. Reaching out to me. I'm not really doing anything to meet people. So,
They need a LinkedIn for dating that's kind of like that. I'm not actively searching, but I'm open to offers.
right. I'm open to work. I'm open to
I,
dating.
I'm at meteor level,
Meteor
and
level.
yeah, the odds of it falling out of the sky and hitting
Yeah.
me in particular are insanely low. If it fell out of the sky and landed on me, I would entertain that.
Right.
Well, you try going to Brazil.
But outside of that,
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same mode. And plus I'm really, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in Colorado. You know, I mean, I'm here because my job came here and I didn't want to I tried getting out of the industry once. It didn't work. Um, Now I just don't know. I don't know what I want to do. You know, but I think about that. What if in a couple of years I decide to leave Colorado? I don't want to have to tell a woman like, okay, well, I'm leaving because I'm not staying here in a state that I'm not loving, or I just don't want to be in that position. And I know moving around a lot didn't do anything for me and my ex-wife for sure. I think it created stresses, moving, new jobs, shit like that. I don't think we did ourselves any favors by chasing that, but you know, we did. Um, so I don't know. Yeah. And plus I think Denver people, I won't even say women, I'll say Denver people or Colorado people, the ones, especially the transplants, they're a flighty group, man. There's a lot of, I think we've talked about before, a lot of polyamory, uh, a lot of, you know, I'm just trying to figure it out. Bitch, you are 45 years old with 3 kids. There's no figuring it out.
I think we're past that point.
Right. Right. Either you want to
You just
just
ain't gonna
fuck
figure it.
everybody or you want to date somebody. I mean, like there's, you know, I had a woman that we went out a couple times and got into some heavy petting, as the kids say. And it was like, okay, you know, and then a few days later, she's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I really want to settle down with one person. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I was like, okay, well, see you, bye. What do you mean? You know, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. No, no, you know, the women that I've dated out here have all been so fucking flighty and just very unsure of themselves. And it's like, dude, I'm almost 50 years old. Was married for 15 years. Like, I want a woman that's got her shit together. She doesn't have to. I mean, I'm not. I'm not 6 foot tall. What is it? 6 foot tall, blue eyes, trust fund. You know, I'm not. I'm not that guy. But I've got my shit together well enough that you don't have to worry about me like quitting my job, getting a DUI, fucking around on you. You know, maybe I'm just boring. Maybe that's the problem.
So last weekend.
So last weekend.
All that.
Well, out of my
weekend.
system now.
Oh my God, you do that once every couple of days, and all of a sudden you're a chronic habitual problem.
well,
I'm
that
not drunk. I'm just
No, you're
tired. I've
just,
been up all night drinking.
you got to look at it a different perspective. You're consistent.
I am.
Consistency is important in a relationship.
It is. It is.
this long I've been feral so long, I think I'm kind of ruined.
I've kind of said the same thing recently.
Well, it's
I've said Doug's feral and he's just ruined. So that was
I'm
a conversation
you know,
I was having.
it all it would take for me, it like, you know, it's like I'm, you know, I do have something to offer another person. But here's the level that I'm at. The first text that I get that's more than a paragraph long. And it's some weird, soul searching, what should be internal dialogue that somehow escaped through SMS and landed on my phone. As soon as that thing hits, my response would be, "Bye, Felicia." And I don't give a fuck if her name was Felicia or not. Because it's just like, I mean, seriously, I would see the entire text, and unless it is starts off with, "I want you to, do X to my Y in blah blah blah."
Hell yeah.
Now
XTV.
you send me some sort of slutty whatever fantasy. I am so down. We're into
Adam,
that.
send Doug a slutty fantasy.
I already did. That's how he knows he's down.
Excellent.
But if
He's
I get
he's
past the
describing
first
last
two
week.
sentences and I don't see that that's where it's going, no,
I want you
because
to pull my neck beard.
oh my god, I want you to pull my neck beard,
Oh my god.
pull my ass hair, and call me Sally.
There you go. Yeah, and I've actually had similar experiences like that with women that I've dated out here, where
That's a weird segue, but all right, keep going.
they
Yeah, I can fap to this.
they
Almost there. Go on.
What do you
I'm
mean?
edging right now.
I thought that was the point of this podcast, Fapcast. They would start shit, like they'd start fights and stuff, and be like, "Why are you being so weird?" And I'm like, "I genuinely do not know what you're talking about." Like my ex-wife would tell you, "Yeah, I started shit. If she was getting on my fucking nerves or whatever the case may be, I'd be an asshole." Right? I fully admit to that, but in all of these cases, I was not doing anything like trying to be a dick. I thought everything was fine. And then I'd get that text message, like Doug said, it's fucking 10 paragraphs long. And I just don't understand why you're being like this. I don't either, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand.
You're like standing there, like in your boxers making breakfast. Like, what? What am I doing?
Reading the paragraphs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that when women get to a certain age, if they haven't done therapy or whatever they need to do, they carry shit with them, and they see things that aren't there.
I don't think it's just women.
No,
I don't think that's age limited either.
Well, I think that when you get older, it's just you've had more of it.
You have more shit to carry. Your bag's bigger.
Yeah, your bag's bigger.
And
I'm not dating 19-year-olds right now, so I can't,
And while I get that, cluster B is a thing. That whole histrionic personality disorder, where if there's nothing emotionally stimulating going on in my atmosphere 24/7 365, then they'll start it up. And then with histrionic personality disorder, it would also be completely centered around them. And I think I don't think there is anyone out there who hasn't run into one of these people. You may not have slept with them, but you've ran across them and then went, "Oh, thank God I never did anything with that particular person."
Right.
So I mean, there is some of that, but there is also there are women out there that will use. I mean, it's almost like trolling. It's just the female version of trolling. Let me try to create this situation to see how you react to it, to generate anger, to amuse whatever weird emotional cat brain thing is going on.
Absolutely. And there's,
and I'm not saying all women are that way.
No,
it's just,
they're not.
I
they're
have
not. And
known several.
Yeah,
I haven't screwed them all, but a few of them.
a lot of people have got what they call CPTSD, which is complex PTSD, meaning that it's not like one bad thing suddenly happened and shocked your nervous system, but someone who's in like an abusive home, they call that CPTSD because it's over time, and you'll see people that when they if there's not some sort of conflict going on, they don't feel comfortable because a wounded animal will always go home even when home isn't safe. Um, it's because it's what they know. And I remember when I first learned that, and I saw it more in other people than I did myself at first. But we've all had friends that were in that relationship that you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Male and female, right? Where it's like, why are you with this person? They make you miserable. You guys are
That's
always
why.
fighting. You know,
That's why.
that's why, right? Exactly. It's because it's what they're familiar with. And it feels there's an odd comfort to it, even though it's terribly uncomfortable. Human psyche, the human brain, the human mind is the most fascinating and infuriating thing on the planet. At least my own has been. Ah, children, neighbors. Um, but yeah, it's fascinating. I was trying to explain to somebody about that, and they didn't agree. They're like, no, 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 that's not why they do it. I was like, why do they
It's
do
not
it?
fascinating, actually. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's like there's something.
It's
Something.
just
Oh, we were talking about. I said that
actually
I
not
had watched
fascinating.
this TikTok or something with her name is Gabby Tullard, I think. She's
Tulsi Gabbard? Oh, never
no,
mind.
she's
Never mind. That made no sense in like
she's
a
a
psychological
trans
sense.
she's a trans woman, and but she used to be a pro wrestler, um, a male pro wrestler, big motherfucker too, and she uh, transitioned over, and she's got this talk show podcast, and she has this other trans woman on there, and this trans woman's kind of not, I guess, liked very much in the trans community because of some of the negative things she has to say about being trans or whatever. But she says, first of all, she said, I am a trans woman. Don't call me a woman. I'm a trans woman. And then she said that she fully believed that being trans was due to some sort of trauma or mental illness trigger like abuse or something like that. And it was interesting to hear somebody in that community with that opinion because I've always held that opinion myself. And I've never meant it as a uh, like a slur or a takedown, right? Whatever. But I know, for instance, I know a ton of gay men that have told me that they were molested as children by men. And I've had people argue with me and say, well, that doesn't make any sense if they were probably molested by a woman and that's why they're like men. Dude, all I can do is tell you what I have been told by gay men. Uh, as to why it turns into that, I have no idea, right? Um,
There. I'm not saying that there cannot be contributing factors, but at the same time, there's motherfuckers born out there with their little baby T-Rex arms or
oh, absolutely,
no
absolutely,
arms. So
yeah,
and it's like, and I'm not saying that LGBTQ people are disabled by any stretch of the
no,
imagination. I'm just saying
no,
there are
no,
variations in birth, and if you take a look at what slice of the population is this or that, it's not half of society.
no.
We're talking the margins.
It's usually,
uh
I thought I read somewhere it's like less than 1%, and I said, well, you could probably
well,
double that
that's
because there
when
are
you go
people that,
down to trans and whatever
yeah,
else, gay. If you start to encompass uh the uh, some of that group, you can get up 7-8%, but
I
it's
don't, I
it's
don't think it was
it's
that high. We'll have
it's
to look that up, but
I mean, it's still overall,
It's a very small percentage,
it's a
yes.
very small percentage.
Right.
So the fact that there could be, especially with the complex chemistry of the brain. I mean, you have
Mm-hmm.
people that are born without vaginas, for fuck's sakes. Yeah,
Oh
they're,
no!
yeah. That I remember. It's been about
Wait,
10 years
that's me.
ago or so.
You were born without a vagina.
The
No, but
fuck?
there was a woman who was excited because they had just come out with a potentially transplantable artificial vagina, and there was a woman on the news who was terribly excited about it because she was born without the ability to reproduce. Now, functionally, structurally, dude, I have no idea how that shit works. I don't know if there's something there, if there's a lack of something there, if it's just a certain kind of tissue. I mean, because I'm not being crude here, but like the thing looked like when they showed it on TV, it looked like a pink dick sleeve. And I know that's kind of what it is, but it looked like something that you would buy out of the back of an Adam and Eve catalog, would be
Hell
the best
yeah.
way I can put it.
Yeah, just kind of implant the fleshlight, and then they're good to go.
Yeah. So, and this lady was terribly excited about it. So there's all sorts of
I'm
things
pretty excited about dick sleeves too.
happen
So
naturally genetically. And there was something that I had heard. It was on a science podcast somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, that doing some of these brain mapping things, what they started to look at was brains after dissection, and some of the people wound up looking at so many brains, and I pulled this out of a dude, I pulled this out of a woman. There were some small structural changes in the brain between men and women. And as far as how different our opinions are apart, I'm just glad that they're even remotely structurally similar sometimes. But um, they got to the point where they could tell if this was a brain that came out of a woman or came out of a man.
gotcha.
They have looked post mortem in some, not all, but some trans people, and saw some of those female type structures in there. Now,
Mm.
I don't know if that was information picked up by my implicit bias, but I do find the concept interesting. And it's not that there's anything that's wrong with them or wrong with that, but it would literally explain the behavior.
Well, and that's why when I say, that I've had these theories on, like called mental illness, whatever. Um, you use the word wrong, and I don't think that there's
I
anything
think
wrong with them, right? Just because I say, well, maybe it's a psychological or psychiatric condition, so could being heterosexual for all I know, right? But I would never say that there's anything wrong. Well, I don't know. What was that? Was it Dylan
in
Mulvaney, the Bud
in
Light?
in 2024, I'm going to say this. In 2024, I believe wrong is the most overused word in the English language.
I think you're wrong, Doug.
I also think you're wrong.
No.
Oh,
There's
think
really
Dan's
no
wrong
other
about
fucking way for me to go with that. So fuck both of you.
no, I mean, I wasn't complaining at all. My only thought was you beat Adam to it.
I know that was my whole goal. Right? No,
We'll have to
you're
mute
wrong.
Dan
You're
next
wrong.
time.
No, you're wrong.
But
I
there's so many times where we should be saying something like, there's a better way to do that.
Sure. That's
Anyway,
I've always been good at playing devil's advocate, and it absolutely fucking irritates people to death. And they say, oh, you're wishy washy. You can't make up your mind. It's like, no, I've made up my mind. I know how I believe. All I'm saying is that I can see other people's views. Doesn't mean that I agree with them. Doesn't mean that I like them. Doesn't mean that I support them.
Well,
But I can see how other people think.
I can give you a new philosophy.
So long as you don't give me a new STD.
It was a Skeletor meme thing that I saw.
Remember
Stuck in
that.
my brain now. It's going to be there for the rest of my life. Now it can occupy some headspace in yours.
Fuck yeah.
Opinions are like orgasms. I only care about mine, and I don't give a damn if you have one or not.
Yep, mine's the most important. Yeah, I mean, I don't like saying wrong. I don't like telling people that. One of the things that I get really agitated about the far left and the far right is that this is the only right way and everything else is wrong. It's like, wow, what would society look like if a million years ago that's how everybody thought about everything all the time? Now, I get it. Throughout history, that thought process has been demonstrated, and it's usually bad. Like,
Can you see? Because the first thing that went to my mind was two women dressed in like bear skin clothes, and one of them's trying to beat the other one to death for what the other bitch wrote about her on the rock. That's all I'm saying.
right. And when I think about like totalitarianism, I think of like, Nazi Germany, and that's the new that's what I'm looking for, fad, for lack of a better term, of, oh, Hitler just wanted his people back, and he really just loved Germany, and there's no way that many Jews died, because if so, everything would be covered in ash, and where did they put all that, and all this stuff. And it's like, okay,
Hitler just wanted his people back?
yeah, the prisoners of war from World War One, I think.
Well,
Supposedly
it's
that's
just
why.
like people saying Stalin wasn't that bad, Hitler wasn't that bad. People
Right.
have been justifying
Putin.
that shit for God knows how long.
And that it was all just a big propaganda machine, and that it was because Hitler wanted off the central bank, and that's why they started war with him, and all this stuff. And it's like, really? Because
Okay.
there's a
Who
lot of
cares? Like,
Jewish families out
give,
there
give him
who,
that. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's true. And then he killed millions of fucking people.
right, and slowly
Because he
started. Okay, so you went into Poland to get your people back. All right, let's say that's true. Why France? Why everywhere else? I live next to a woman. God, I wish I could remember her name. And my ex used to tease me because she always said that the old woman was sweet on me. And she was Polish and smoked 19 packs of cigarettes a day and drank all the beer. Her skin was like a finely oiled leather bag. She was a hoot, dude. But she lived through fucking World War II in Poland. And she told me that
She was pretty safe.
right. She said, yeah, I woke up one morning and we were now part of Germany. And she recalled like the air raids and stuff like that. So that, again, as those people die out though, and everything's just written in books and movies and whatnot, people start arguing it and saying that it's propaganda and all this stuff. But again, okay, you went to Poland to get your people back. Great. Why everywhere else? Why did you keep marching? Maybe he did start off with good intentions. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. I mean, that's
But
not what made the like, that's
right,
not really
right,
why he's so infamous.
right. Exactly.
Who cares?
He was there's a lot of speculation coming out now that he was a tweaker. Methamphetamines
He
were
was.
fucking huge.
He
Matter of
was.
fact, I think the Nazi soldiers had it in their ration packs, because you
Yeah.
could get
They were doing
It
meth all
was
the time.
called Pervitin. They
What was it?
sold over
Hervitin?
the counter. Yes,
Mm.
Pervitin. They sold it over the counter
German no dose.
in Germany, and that now, granted, there were several things that made the Blitzkrieg special because the Nazis they put into practice uh, warfare that had only been theorized about on our side and sort of run an exercise and blah blah blah. Um, don't get me into all that stuff, but regardless, when they started Blitzkrieg, now the German soldiers, once they got up and they started, getting ready, going into battle, they effectively stayed up 72 hours at a time
Mhm.
because they were on meth. They were high as fuck running through the countryside with guns. Now,
That's kind of scary.
They'll steal your copper pipe.
yeah,
Yeah, watch out for your catalytic converter.
yeah, they would have completely stripped your car and all your electrical wiring. Uh, there was no catalytic converter. Regardless
Well,
of
not after
that,
they got done.
it's like they were also linked up with radio to the tanks. They were linked up with radio to the artillery, which was linked up with radio to the air. So they kept going through, and even in a scenario where you're counting on all of those going in more or less simultaneously, combat ground troops have to rest. So
Right. Right. Unless they don't.
unless they're on meth and they go for 72 hours straight.
Have you guys ever seen this? Is kind of a branch, but I think the movie's called Overlord. It's a little B budget, like kind of sci-fi movie about World War II, and they find a chemical plant in this little French village where the Nazis are testing shit. Uh, I won't give it away, but it's it kind of goes into the imagine if they were even fucking harder to kill. Um, and it was one of those movies like we talked about earlier that it's again low budget, decent sets and stuff like that, special effects, but pretty decent movie. But it's called Overlord. If you ever get the chance, you should watch it. It's a neat movie.
Sounds right up my alley.
Oh yeah,
I've
you'd like it.
I've already played Call of Duty Nazi Zombies. I think
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, so you have seen Overlord then.
No, I haven't.
It's and he was known for being into the occult, and doing all that shit. So yeah, I mean, like Adam said, I don't know what it started out as, but it didn't end well, man.
Oh, if you
But to
want to
hear
watch
people,
entertaining, there's a movie called Hitler, or not a movie. It's a
documentary
series
like
about
Hitler
Hitler's
Rising or something
inner
like that.
circle.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
how in the fuck those guys got to power is beyond
Uh-huh.
me. You
Meth, dude.
watch
It was
that
meth.
shit.
Yeah, it's on PBS or something like that when you're talking about, and it's how they go all the way back to like Ferdinand, um, and World War One, and then the things that happened, and basically it was because everybody's gone from like the day he started his bullshit jackboot and did this, but they showed how many political parties there were in Germany at the time, and how the Nazi Party in the beginning they were mostly just like thugs and shit. It's weird, but it shows how he kind of weaseled his way into power. But it's fucking fascinating to see.
And it's weird because it's once you get into it, everyone around him. Now, now when I say this, I'm not like trying to. It's like
Doug's a
Joseph
Nazi. Go ahead.
Goebbels. no, Joseph Goebbels, the guy who was the propaganda guy,
Mm-hmm.
he seemed to be the only one who kind of had his shit together. And I'm
Yeah.
guessing that's one reason why he was so good at his job.
Yeah.
Everybody else, holy fuck.
A lot of weird drama and fucking
Dude, it was
shit.
like there
Yeah.
was one time when one of them got sick. I think it was the air marshal guy, Goering. He was sick. And when Hess was still around, before he pulled his genius move that he was going to just fly into Britain before they attacked him and convince him to surrender. Um, before
I
he
might be
did that,
related to him, by the way. Funny story.
well, it's interesting. I don't think your eyebrows are thick enough. But wow, unibrow. But regardless, that Hess had turned around and sent him like a series of like 5 or 6 pots, and he was supposed to put like this water and a little bit of this other bullshit solution and soak them in there to like heal his chakras or some
Mm-hmm.
goofy shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking people were
Himalayan salt crystal.
insane.
They were all into that shit. And again, like I said, the occult, different. You see like what is it? You always Indiana Jones, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and uh, Hellboy. There's a few that they use. Red Skull. They use the Hitler or they use the Nazis as a backdrop, and it's because there's tons of history that state that they were into a lot of that weird shit.
Well, I mean, when you more or less find a tale to use to pull your own mythology out of your ass about, like some previous Atlantean kind of level superior Aryan nation that fell through whatever means, and you're trying to go and find that so you can be the superior race, you tend to grab onto these little fringe things that sort of kind of maybe halfway sound like your story and adapt them into your own shit.
Wait, aren't chakras Hindu? Isn't that a Hindu thing? That explains the symbol they sampled.
Yeah,
Sampled.
they definitely sampled the shit out of it.
Hey, you fucking ruined this
Once or
thing, guys.
twice.
No, it's not
Well,
the same
it's
thing.
it's like
We turned.
you've got one guy who ruins a symbol that's been around for God knows how long, and a mustache for everyone. It's like you're not allowed to shave and just have that little, the little Hitler stash on top. If you walked, if you shaved it like that and went outdoors, you want to talk about stairs.
You
Well, at
probably
least
get more
nobody's
to-
ruined red hats yet.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, it says that these geometrical figure in ancient religious icon in the cultures of Eurasia represents peace and harmony. The swastika is a cross with arms bent at right angles in either left-facing or right-facing forms. It is a widely used religious symbol in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism.
And it's all over the Jefferson County, Alabama courthouse, which was built
Stay
in
classy,
1920
America.
something.
Yeah.
It was built in like the 20s.
So a
They
little
just
prior.
decided they'll just leave it. I'm not going to say that it didn't influence it one way or the other a little later on, especially in that period between the 40s and the 60s. But hey,
Well, the fucked up thing about that is that, a lot of these people that are out there marching and saying this shit, it's like, you realize a lot of people's grandparents died or dealt with some very serious trauma because of that man and what he did, so regardless of what his overarching plan was, there were a lot of Americans in the 30s and 40s that didn't agree with how he was doing it. So, you might have people in your family that are dead because of him, but hey, by all means, if he makes the liberals mad or if that makes the liberals mad, go for it. That, and it's never 6 foot tall, white, blue eyed, blonde haired people either. It's always these fat fucking boomhauers, you know. It's like, yeah, okay.
Meal Team 6.
Yeah, yeah. Big time. Big time.
Gravy Seals.
Gravy Seals. I like that one. I haven't heard that one. I've heard Meal Team 6. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, I like Gravy Seals too. So I wish people would just get over themselves. Remember that we've only got about 70 halfway good years on this fucking planet if you're lucky. And then we die and it's all fucking stupid and pointless. So uh, just be decent to one another. Doesn't mean you have to like everybody, but try to be fucking decent to each other. Let everybody have their fucking space. Don't worry about what other people are doing in their homes, and they're not trying to indoctrinate your kids. They're not.
No, we're all just fleas on the dog, man.
Exactly. And that's why when I think people take shit way too seriously to try and give themselves some kind of meaning, and there is none. Life is a comedy of errors. It's you tell I've been reading my books on nihilism again.
I didn't realize we had Nietzsche in the fucking chat today.
Yeah, nihilism and stoicism. I think it's just getting older, pushing 50, and realizing that if I'm lucky, if I'm fucking lucky, I got 20 halfway decent years left. And that ain't a lot, man. It just ain't. And I'm not going to worry about shit I can't control. I'm not going to worry about what other people are doing as long as it's not hurting me at the moment or threatening to hurt me in the future. Whatever, man. You know, if being called the wrong pronoun is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, God bless you. You have a phenomenal life. If running around being a hateful little fucking toad is the best you can do, fuck off and get out of my way. Just stay the fuck away from me and do your thing.
If you're so offended by anyone that has a different opinion from you,
Yeah, that you break down from it,
yeah,
right, into tears and screaming and oh my God, he thinks differently than me. Again, get help or.
And you know, there may be some people that stings out there for, but it's horseshoe theory. It's the left and the right. It's not exclusively either one.
No, that's everybody. I mean, again, if that kind of shit upsets you that bad, you have a great fucking life. Because I have other things to worry about. I don't give a fuck about Israel. I don't give a fuck about Ukraine. I don't give a fuck about any of these places because it just doesn't affect me, right? Do I like the fact that people are dying? No, not particularly. It kind of sucks, but I cannot stop it. And I didn't
start it. They got to get you behind it so that you care. They got to get you behind it so that you care. So when they loan them money and ask for it back in 50 years,
right?
You know,
I'm supporting it, right? It's like, whatever, man. That shit's so far above my pay grade. I'm just trying to keep a little money in my pocket and retire and not have to eat shitty cat food, at least by the like fancy feast or
wet food. You want to be sure you can give yourself wet food and
I don't have to let my kibble sit in powdered milk while I.
You know, by then they may actually have people chow.
I hope so. I've been waiting
That'd be
for
cool.
it.
Made of people or for people?
For people.
I was going to say, I really don't give a fuck either way. So
yeah, it's probably pretty good.
Soylent Green. It just
Whoa! Spoiler! I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't even mind. It just depends on who goes in the vat. I might enjoy it.
I haven't seen that movie yet. Okay, you need to give me a spoiler alert next time.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for
a lot of time to see that one.
I'm waiting for the protein, the gelatinous protein, like on Snowpiercer. Like, I just don't even care. Cooking is a pain in the ass. I forgot about
that movie, man. That reminded me of
because it's a stupid movie. It makes no sense.
You ever see that Korean one that was kind of the same concept? So they were all in a prison, which was like 100 floors, and
yes, I watched that.
All the food came from the top, and got first choice, and good luck at the bottom.
Yeah, I watched that, dude. I mean, I liked it.
Snowpiercer is basically it is a Korean film. The guy that did it is a Korean director. Like, that was his first American film, and I think it's even an adaptation of a Korean film. So they seem to have a thing for that genre. Couldn't imagine why.
Wait, what genre?
The have and have nots and the starving and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Couldn't tell you.
All I got to say is they don't have a obesity problem in North Korea.
What they do is just like one person.
Well, that's true.
He offsets the national average enough that it's basically an obesity problem. Yeah, yeah. He offsets it so much that
Shut up, Adam.
okay.
I'd rather die drunk, broke at 34 and have people at a dinner table talk about me than live to be rich and sober at 90 and nobody remember who I was.
Oh, yeah. That mean ain't no running. Everyone you